Hello, everybody. Robert Aducci here with Ulysses Spiel. We are going to talk about Tharkold. Crowdfunding starts tomorrow, so everybody get ready. If you're watching right now, you can see I'm putting up a few preview images, some things that we have not released yet, so check those out. And we're going to kind of go through and read some of the previews that we've had so far and give you some information that you have not had yet. So with that, let's let me resize some of these images just so you can get a better view. There we go. So with that, let's dig in. I've also got some news that you've not heard yet, so we'll talk about that as we get into it here. But first, let's look at the first preview. So Deanna has done a couple of previews. I think we're on, what are we on here? Preview 5 we just released today, but we're gonna kind of start from the beginning and go over it. Looks like I did not. Oh yeah, I did include it here. So I definitely recommend you go check out the Ulisses worlds. We featured Greg Gordon on the 11th, so almost 2 weeks ago. But you can go check that out. And Greg kind of talks about Tharkold and some of the changes we made for Tharkold with new Torg Eternity. Kind of what are the major themes and kind of what players do, what characters do, what GMs can do in Tharkold. So definitely go check that out if you want to hear some sort of behind the scenes information about Tharkold. Let's see. Here is the first one, Tharkold Preview 1 year later. If my computer will make it there we go. Or not. So, Tharkold Preview 1. It's time to begin previewing the next crowdfunding for Torg Eternity Tharkold. As usual, please remember that much of what we previewed is still in development and the final results may differ. So without further ado, the state of the possibility wars on D+365. The Torg Eternity core book describes the world as it stands at the end of the third month of the war. Each of the Cosm source books will detail what happens over the following 9 months. The High Lords have been busy, but the Delphi Council is trying to push back. Tharkold is a realm in civil war. After Jezreel assassinated the High Lord of Tharkold, Krynod, she thought that she would take his place. However, Malgus, the Darkness device, had other plans. Instead of accepting Jezreel as a new High Lord, it wanted to test her mettle against 2 other possibilities, Duke Thrachin and Volkov, Duke and President of Russia. The challenge was to expand the realm. Whoever managed to do so with the greatest potential for possibility energy would claim their rightful place as the master of Tharkold. Tharkold's axioms. Well, here's a map, a little detailed of what the Cosm, what the Cosm kind of looks like here. Tharkold's axioms. Tharkold is a Cosm with a degrading magic axiom, and it's teetering on no longer being able to support the existence of demons at all. Dropping to Magic 11 would doom all of the Ord Techno demons, and even reality-rated demons would eventually fall. This decline is a result of the Techno demons' own activity. They were brought to Tharkold by summoning spells and remained sensitive to it, but also viewed its use as a threat. Any use of magic by the race had to be stamped out. At Magic 12, conjuration is no longer possible, although the demon magic tradition does contain knowledge of such spells. Occult tech also requires Magic 12 to operate, but although permanent magic items are not possible at that axiom, the high-tech axiom combines with magic and powers those cybernetic implants. Occult tech requires Tech 25, and many other technological advancements still are supported. However, just because the realm allows the existence of technology, some of it is very rare. Technology for leisure, comfort, or convenience is rare at best, non-existent at worst. Tharkold once had gods, thousands of years ago, but they became powerless as the demons won the war to enslave the race. Tharkolds hold no spiritual beliefs, and although the race still believes in souls and reincarnation, called liberation, spiritual power is practically non-existent. Finally, Tharkold has the highest social axiom, out of all of the invading realms, but is only able to achieve a slight part of the potential that it holds. As the magic axiom fell, the social axiom rose. Not only did this reduce the ability of the Tharkold to fight the race, it allowed the race to develop powers to enhance their ability to revolt. Psionics. Although the social cohesion of the race is affected by the Tharkold world laws, the increasing social axiom is improving those aspects of the race society as well. Techno-demons gain little benefit from the high social axiom. No techno-demon has developed psionic powers on their own, although there is some occult tech that can allow it. They don't understand psionics and only now realize how much of a threat or how much of a danger that power has on them. Laws of conservation of evil. Tharkold's world laws. Tharkold's law of domination, law of pain, and law of ferocity are detailed in the Torg Eternity core book. However, just like the other realities, Tharkold has some minor world laws as well. Law of conservation of evil. Evil exists in a measurable form. Deeds and ideas that promote harm and suffering create evil, but the only way that evil diminishes is through redemption and forgiveness, both of which are in short supply in Tharkold. However, the recent invasion of another cosm and now core Earth has resulted in a dilution of the evil in their home cosm. Demons are doing their evil deeds on other worlds and being destroyed there. Although the invading cosm becomes a bit darker, Tharkold's evil is reduced by a similar amount. This has resulted in the creation of aspirants, techno-demons who have chosen to fight their inherent evil side. Law of cynicism. Murphy's Law made a world law. Things don't go smooth. This also makes the citizenry apathetic to changing their situation. Whether they're victimized by gangs or leaders or techno-demons, it really doesn't matter. Some Russians like to say this world law has been in effect since before the invasion. Additionally, tales of glory spread slower in Tharkold, though the UN has declared that no stela can be uprooted in Russia until Volkov's situation is resolved. That's going to make it difficult. Law of the haunts. Although the spirit axiom is too low to allow spirits and ghosts to manifest, spirits manifest directly as a result of this world law. The wastes of the blasted land, especially the empty cities where thousands or millions died, are spooky. Walls only seem to fall over when where there is someone resting beneath them. And coming soon. Over the next few days, we'll be highlighting different parts of the upcoming products for Tharkold, including psionics, occult tech, spells, and details on the race and the aspirants. If you have any other questions or would like to discuss, ask in the comments below. So it looks like there's a few comments here, and we answer some of these in the upcoming previews, and so let's get to some more of those. Let's see. Looking in the chat, people are saying the cover with the ripped off horns is beastly. Yeah, it really is a great image. Let me add the image directly. Let me go find it real quick so everyone can see it, just in case you haven't yet. Actually, I guess it's in the next preview. We don't really need to. We don't need to pull it up right now. So, I guess not in the next one, but I'll just go through show it real quick. It's in the Cranad and Jezreel, I think. Oh no, that was from today. Let's see where it is. In the magic one. Yeah, it was in this one. So here we go. There we go. There's the cover image. It is pretty amazing how she is kind of ripping the horns off, ripping Cranad's horns off. It's great. She's great pose. That's just awesome. Yeah. And let's see. So that was Insider said that. Grey March said that Cyber Dragon looks familiar. Padre says, love how the story went. Insider says, I love how they're previewing all the artwork on the left side. Yeah, I threw a bunch in there so you guys can check some of that out. Jahi says, still wondering how the Maelstrom Bridge, first in the trilogy novel, will be available as part of the Kickstarter. So it looks like, unfortunately, that has changed. It's not going to be part of this Kickstarter or part of this crowdfunding. It was originally our ideas, but then, things happen, things change, and we had to cut it out of this. So it looks like it's not going to be part of this. It's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a separate crowdfunding. I'm not really sure what's going on with it yet, but that's the situation now. So let's get back. We'll go look at the second one. Let me reset the size here. So the second Kickstarter, or the second preview for this crowdfunding is Aspirants in the Race. So this was something that was cool that that I think is new for Torg Eternity. We kind of talked about it a little bit in the last one, but let's get through it. So the race. Centuries of battle have molded the race into something not quite human. Although the Cosmos world law conspires to leech hope out of the race, they still hold on to concepts of honor, friendship, and even love, which prove that they have not become the demons they fight. The race is nominally human, but they do not get unfettered access to human perks, but instead get their own suite of perks, though one of those perks does grant access to a single human perk. Other race perks include Eternal War, which buffs damage against techno-demons. Awakened by the Way, which grants race size another 3 psionic powers, and Master of the Way, which grants a race psi the ability to pick up a psionic power from any list. Those who are raised free can take the raised free perk, and that's here. So it's a prereq, cannot have the Born in the Pens perk. Those who are raised among the free are taught early and often the benefits of cooperating with fellow members of the race when fighting the Tharkold. When assisting a combined action, the hero's extra effort attempts are up when leading a combined action. The effective number of participants is doubled. Here's Aspirants. It's pretty awesome. He's shooting him right behind his head, kind of explodes and shoots out his mouth. It's great. So the Tharkold are literally born evil, manifesting from the arcane energy of Tharkold. Until recently, all Tharkold who transcended have chosen the path of destruction. However, whether it's due to the core Earth's laws, or hope, or Tharkold's law of conservation of evil, a rare few techno-demons have chosen a different path since the invasion of Earth. These techno-demons are known as aspirants. Although they choose a better path, they still fight their inner darkness, and are not as powerful as other Tharkold. This weakness manifests as a shorter stature, only 2 meters in height. Their wings are not capable of true flight, and they lose their innate ability to use magic. However, aspirants are still dependent upon a high magic axiom to thrive. Here are the aspirants' racial abilities and flaws. So they have some bite and claws, creatures of magic, enhance, outriders, wings, and rejected destinies. I'm not going to read all that right now, but you can catch that on the Ulysses-us.com website. Here's a perk. Like other major races, aspirants can select racial perks that enhance their abilities, often regaining some of the power they lost when choosing to fight the forces of the High Lords. These perks include the ability to manifest arcane chains, select extra occult tech, gain true flight, and become a large creature. Additionally, some still feel the pull of ruling their own pride. And here's the Pride Alpha perk. We'll read that one. Prerequisite aspirant beta clearance and at least 5 adds in intimidation. Although the aspirant is a better creature, he feels the call to rule his own pride with dominance, ferocity, and pain to all those who cross him. Old habits die hard. The aspirant gains a fear special ability. When a foe first encounters him in battle, in an act, they must test spirit or willpower or become very stymied. Let's see. French Torg GMJ asks, some of the images show characters alone. Are they archetypes? The previews don't say which characters are planned with this crowdfunding. I'm going to leave that for future questions. I don't have all the answers to everything. These are just some of the arts that we had finished, so I wanted to throw them up so you guys could see. But yeah, they're likely the archetypes or some major characters in the adventures and whatnot. All right, so I'm gonna, just in case you want to follow along, I'm gonna throw the link here. This is the link that I'm going off of. So that was number 2, the aspirants in the race. Let's read about Cranod and Jezreel. And again, just in case you're joining us now, the crowdfunding is going to happen on Game On Tabletop tomorrow. I'm not sure what time yet, but I would imagine somewhat early. So pay attention here. You can go to the Game On Tabletop link now and kind of sign up to get notified as soon as it happens. And I'll paste that link here in a bit when we get back to it. Actually, I think I have it over here. 1 second. Yeah, here it is. So here's the current link. And you can sign up and get an immediate notification when it goes live. So this one is about Cranod and Jezreel. Cranod was the favorite of Alf, Tharkold's oldest techno-demon at the end of the final war against the race. He was Alf's favorite test subject and had long planned to assassinate his master, but was thwarted when another duke did the deed. His attempt to take credit for the assassination backfired, and he fled into the ruins of the final war, and in those blasted lands far beyond where any techno-demon had explored, he came across Malgust, a darkness device. Malgust called Cranod master, and when Cranod returned, he used it to kill half the remaining dukes, and was named Prince of Tharkold by the remainder. However, he didn't have Alf's ambition or brilliance, and so Cranod's rule was marked mostly by sloth. It took 200 years before Cranod finally invaded his first cosm, and only when Malgust detected the drop of Tharkold's magic axiom. Cranod had only invaded his second cosm a century after invading the first, when the Gaunt Man offered him the opportunity to join the invasion of Core Earth. The catastrophe of the initial invasion and the lack of progress of expanding his realm led Malgust to finally lose patience and look for another. So here's all his stats. I'm not going to read through all of this, but you can definitely check them out. It says note that these preview pages are still undergoing editing and playtesting and not the final versions. Jezreel. As Cranod was Alf's favorite, so Jezreel was Cranod's. His thrall was born in the slave pens and fought in his campaigns against other worlds. Every torture he inflicted and every installation of occult tech Cranod did made Jezreel hyper-focused and more dangerous. The High Lord of Tharkold took it as a challenge to see how far he could push Jezreel before she broke. She never did, and then she killed him. Jezreel is no friend of the race. She views slaves as pathetic creatures, and although she hates the Tharkoldu, she respects them. She believes that with the death of Cranod, she would become the High Lord of Tharkold, but she is mistaken. Instead, Malgust is taking its time to determine who truly deserves to rule. Jezreel is determined that it be her. So from the chat here, Jihi says, looks like 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, there you go, 10 a.m. Eastern. Yep, that's early for me. That's 7 a.m. So yeah. 7 a.m. Pacific. Zinesider says, will the players of the game have influence over who the 3 candidates will follow Cranod as High Lord? I think so. I think that is part of the whole Infiniverse thing. So we'll see how that plays out with the Torg folks. Padre asks, do we know what the shipping charges are going to be at? No, I think that is yet to be seen. So I'm not sure. Jesus, we need those 2 adventures. One was Tharkold related. Yeah, so Daryl had mentioned that you can probably expect those around Gen Con, since that is when they were coming out before. So we'll see. All right, let's go on to the next one. So that was 3, Cranod and Jezreel. And here's preview 4, Magic. This week we look at magic and spells in Tharkold and the cover of the Tharkold sourcebook. This is a great image, the Kremlin with the demon pointing to it. Art by Michael Teliga. Let's see, French Torg GM says, I think there's been a little mistake about the Jezreel character. She's only got 3 wounds. When she's got the perk hard to kill, she should have 4 wounds. Ah, thanks. Yeah, that is still, like we said, the images are still kind of playtests, still being kind of worked out. All the ampersands says, curious if mutants are a thing in Tharkold this time. There's only one image in the rotation of Ibis protecting a young girl whose arm is not an arm. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and find out, or you can ask that in the Discord. Deanna's in the Discord quite a bit. You can ask there. You can ask on these on our previews as well, and we'll see if we can get you an answer for that. But I'm not sure. So the Tharkold brought with them their own demonic magic, but much of that knowledge was lost during the Pendasm. Demonic scholars started studying new spells as a magic axiom dropped, ones which enhance, empower, and even destroy the advanced technology they've become used to. Some of these spells, in particular, any conjuration spell, are now contradictory in Tharkold, but the Demon Scholar perk allows spells in the demon magic list that would be 4-case contradictions to be treated as 1 case instead. Although many acolytes and magi of the race consider demon magic profane, some members of the race look at learning this tradition as using the techno-demon's strength against them. Here's a look at the demon magic spell list and the impaling limb spell. So here's the demon list and the impaling limb. Axiom level 13, skill alteration 14, 1 round, difficulty number, target's willpower or spirit, range, touch, duration 1 minute. Impaling limb is a spell created when Tharkold's magic axiom was higher, and is currently contradictory when cast within Tharkold. This spell may only be cast on targets that have a skeleton or similar structure, otherwise the spell automatically fails. Additionally, it may only be cast upon willing targets, or those who are the caster's submissives. When Impaling Limb spell is successfully cast, the spell breaks the bones and strips away the flesh of one's target's arms, from elbow to fingertips. The arm then temporarily reshapes into a vicious-looking spike that can be used to impale foes. This gruesome process inflicts 2 shock to the target. The limb is an effective weapon that inflicts strength plus 4 damage with AP 2. Unarmed combat is used for attacks. When the spell ends, the limb reverts to normal. Nice. That's pretty cool. Success. Good. AP increases to 3. Outstanding AP increases to 4. Nice. Freedom magic. I love the wings on this. That's pretty cool. Art by Rita Faye. The race were once masters of the arcane arts, and in fact summoned their eventual overlords through rituals. A refugee from a chasm Tharkold invaded discovered the old magic, and subsequent scholars blended those spells with repurposed magic of the techno-demons, and conquered worlds and created an arcane tradition whose purpose was liberation. Here's the Freedom Magic list and the Chilling Darkness spell. Chilling Darkness. Prerequisites: beta clearance and knowledge of the Mage Dark spell. Axiom level 14. Skill Conjuration 14. Casting time 1 action. Difficulty number: targets, intimidation, or spirit. Range: 25 meter radius centered on a caster. Duration 1 round. A cold shadow extends from the caster, enshrouding all within 25 meters of her in darkness. Those within or attacking targets within the darkness suffer a dark -4 penalty. Abilities and gear which allow subjects to see in the dark do not work while inside the chilling darkness. Additionally, all within the darkness except the caster feel an overwhelming sense of terror. At the start of their turn, each person other than the caster must make a fear test, willpower or spirit, or become very stymied. Success levels. Good. The fear tests have a -2 penalty. Outstanding. The fear tests have a -4 penalty. Here's another view of that great cover image by Aaron Riley. Pretty awesome. So let's look at the next section. So reward levels. This is not really a preview of the content, but a preview of the crowdfunding itself. And because Game On, has sort of like an everything up front attitude to it, because when you back it, you pay right away. We wanted to make sure that people kind of knew what they were going to get into, so they could plan for Tuesday's Tuesday's crowdfunding, and we'll try to do this more and more, kind of get it previewed even further so that you guys can plan better in the future. Note that there are a couple of important clarifications here. First of all, we will not be adding new products during the campaign. To avoid confusion, we want to show you everything that will be available. We're also significantly limiting the physical stretch goals to just the items that will eventually become the GM pack. We want to make sure everyone sees that the bundles are great deals right up front. So Tharkold a la carte, one of the advantages, so this is $40 US. One of the advantages of building a campaign directly on Game On Tabletop is that we don't have to create separate reward levels for every possible combinations of items you want. This reward level starts with a physical PDF copy of the Tharkold sourcebook, and then you can select individual add-ons and add to your heart's content. If you just want the books, no problem. If you just want the main book and a couple of accessories, easy. Also, every add-on is available from launch, so you can decide right away what you want to get. What add-ons will be available tomorrow? So yeah, you'll have to see. These are just kind of the previews, but tomorrow, you'll be able to see everything. So Tharkold Digital, $80. This is the big PDF bundle of those who want it all digitally. This reward level gets you every digital product, including any PDF stretch goals we unlock. This is the total retail value of $115 worth of PDFs, not including any digital-only content. Note that you can still get physical add-ons with this reward level, but that shipping, even a single small item, has a minimum base rate. Tharkold Vault, $225. Yes, this is everything, and we mean everything. For those of you who have seen past Torg Eternity campaigns, please be aware that we're not doing any add-ons that aren't automatically in the big box. In addition to everything you're used to seeing, this includes one of each of the new Tharkold acrylic token packs and a fold-up dice tray. So, yeah, I can actually talk about, let's see, let me find, there was a list here. Let's see, looking at, so some of the things are going to be, there's going to be, obviously the Tharkold sourcebook, Tharkold GM screen and archetypes. Blood on the Blasted Land is the adventure. There's going to be a Delphi missions book for Tharkold. There'll be a Tharkold booster deck, Tharkold possibility tokens, and a Tharkold GM pack. Blood on the Blasted Land soundtrack, 2 map packs, Minions of Tharkold tokens, Heroes of the Blasted Land tokens, the Tharkold Vault, obviously, which is the box, and there's a source book that is the deluxe edition. So those are sort of the main items that you're gonna find, Jihi. So hopefully that will help you out. But we don't have the prices for each of those yet, or at least I don't have them listed here. So Tharkold Vault Deluxe, $250, so $25 more. What about the map packs? Yeah, there's two map packs. Tharkold map pack 1 and 2. Yep. Tharkold Vault Deluxe, same as the Vault, but this one replaces the regular hard copy of the source book with the deluxe leatherette edition. That retail value is $280 before stretch goals. So here's the Gaspog by Bien Flores Unique Sopari. Pretty crazy looking. Some Techno Demon stuff going on. Tharkold Sourcebook Limited Edition, $115 add-on. The limited leather edition of the Tharkold Sourcebook may only be purchased as an add-on. It cannot be used to replace the book in your vault. Note on stretch goals. We'll be talking more about this as we get into the campaign, but many of our stretch goals this time are going to focus on generating new streaming content for everyone. We know that pay up front campaign means that people choose not to keep coming back to the page, so instead we'll come to you. And I know people were, questioning how the archetypes are going to work. I have some news on that, so let's see. So concerning the archetypes, backer archetypes, what other heroes will we find in the Blasted Land? What other operatives secretly work against Volkov's agenda? Who else is out there surviving or even thriving? You tell us. With this add-on, you gain a unique opportunity to add to the lore of Torg Eternity by creating custom Tharkold archetypes with the designers, including stats, descriptions, progressive options, and art. They will then be released as a digital product once all the archetypes are complete. And because we're setting it up as an add-on rather than pledge level, you can get the Tharkold Vault and create your own archetype for $20 cheaper than past custom archetype rewards. There will be 16 slots available for $250 each. They are limited at one add-on per backer. And this add-on will be called the Create an Archetype. So I'm going to be adding this directly to this, directly to the Tharkold preview reward levels. So this this article I'm going to update as soon as this is over. I'll get it added in there. So that's definitely news. So if you have been an archetype backer before, or you want to do it this time, and you want to have your character created and drawn and work with the designers to get your character included into the canon of Tharkold, definitely check that out. All right. So that was the reward levels, and then today we had this new Tharkold preview number 5 come out. So today we look at the High Lord of Tharkold's final moments. So this is basically the kind of story that happened. Looks like it's about 4 pages long, so we'll go ahead and get reading on that. Padre says, I'm planning on getting the box again. Awesome, yeah. Boxes are beautiful. So why can't anything just be easy? That was Cronod's constant silent lament. The Gauntman had been hounding him for months, and the High Lord of Tharkold wasn't used to answering to anyone, much less a glorified, hairless monkey. That wasn't true, he knew. The Gauntman wore a human face, but he was something altogether more ancient and evil than any demon. The thought gave Cronod a silent shudder of fear. That was something else he wasn't used to, feeling fear of any kind. But this time, it wasn't the Gauntman making trouble. It was that sniveling worm, Duke Thrachin. Thrachin had been an irritant for centuries. He thought he was some great schemer, but Cranod saw right through him. He saw a coward, always lusting for power, but too weak to take it without subterfuge. But now Duke Thrachin had openly challenged him. A bold move wasn't like him. The Duke must believe that he had the upper hand. He was probably getting support from the Gauntman, and who knows what dire promises had been exchanged to gain that support. Now that a challenge was in the air, the other dukes were getting anxious, and Duke Volkov was already maneuvering to take advantage of it. Volkov, the ape duke, it had seemed like such a masterstroke at the time. Dropping a second Maelstrom bridge had nearly cost the demons everything, and no one, not the humans and not the Gauntman, would be allowed to know just how near a thing it had been. Negotiating with the human bought time, gave the demons most of what they wanted anyway, and best of all, Cranod replaced a potentially powerful foe with a tiny human. Unfortunately, the human had turned out to be canny in the ways of power, and was already becoming more trouble than he was worth, just like a demon duke after all. Bah, the dukes. Cranod could kill them all, but that just meant more work. Replacing them, teaching those replacements to fear him, learning their names. Actually, did he even know all the names of his current dukes? Not that it mattered. His disdain made his strength and their weakness clear. Better to keep them in line and keep them afraid. Jihi says, yeah, box for me too, and limited book. Awesome. GamerX says, can we get some Fs in the chat for what's about to happen? For sure. He'd have to make an example of Thrachin to remind the rest of the scum he was the High Lord of Tharkold, not Thrachin, not Volkov, and certainly not the Gauntman. Cranod smiles wickedly to himself while contemplating what was to come. He yanked the chain connected to his favorite pet, Jezreel, and laughed as she sputtered pain when her collar pulled her to the ground and towards him. Most techno-demons had gone to remote collars, but Cronod liked the physical reminder that solid chain links provided, and the satisfaction of feeling the slight unconscious resistance from a thrall being completely overwhelmed by the tug of her master. Time to get to work, Mugly, Cronod hissed gleefully. Mugly, ugly monkey, was a childish nickname for Jezreel. But it never ceased to irritate her, and that was all that was required to keep using it. She looked at him with fire in her eyes, but she managed to keep her mouth shut. Good girl. He gave the chain another hard pull and dragged her, scrabbling for balance, closer to his throne. Thratchen will challenge me, but he's not worthy of bloodying my claws, so I'm going to send him you, my pet, and he's going to die the worst, most embarrassing death a demon can die, defeat at the hands of a thrall. Cranad punctuated the statement with a long lick of the side of Jezreel's head, although with his rough tongue. He knew she hated it. He did it often enough that her hair didn't grow there anymore. He could feel her desire to pull away from him, to resist, but she won the internal battle with her own flinch or gag reflex and remained perfectly still. He sighed, content that she knew her place as his pet and his good girl. When you fight Thratchen, let him rough you up some. I want to see who's rooting for him. Also, a few more scars might make you prettier. Then, when he's preening in front of everyone and gloating at me, you get him with this. He opened a panel on his throne, carefully drew out a grotesque dagger. It would be small, even in a hairless ape's hands, and easy to hide. In his own huge hands, it was comically tiny. He gripped it by a black, writhing handle that resembled the gaunt fingertips wrapped around a pure silver blade. The blade emerged from both hands of the handle, and both ends were honed to razor sharpness. It's called the Demon Blade, a relic from another time. This is the beauty that killed old Prince Alf. Just a scratch, and the most powerful demon who ever burned just fades away. One prick from this, and Thratchen is done. Cranad was lost in thought for a moment, remembering the days when Alf was his master, and he was now Jezreel's. He'd been a different creature then, younger, stronger, and definitely more ambitious. The prince had used him, tortured him mercilessly, and had made Cranad everything he was today. It disgusted him to think about, but he was Alf's legacy. Of course, he knew that would have pleased his old master immensely. The evil we do lives after us. Watch that it doesn't take you too. The dual blade is more than a metaphor. One wrong turn of the wrist and the blade takes your life just as swiftly as it takes his. And we can't have that. I've got big plans for you, Mowgli. He dropped the artifact in front of Jezreel, and the blade sank down to the hilt in the stone floor. His favorite little thrall picked up the blade and tested its balance thoughtfully. It fit her hand much better than his own gross paw. He bit down on a sudden surge of jealousy over her lithe, perfect little killing body compared to his own disgusting, bloated frame. He'd take that jealousy out on her later. That usually made him feel better. But for now, she had a job to do, and she was the only one he trusted to see it done. Thratchen needed to be dealt with. With one last mean tug, he unclipped the chain from the back of her neck, then their shared ritual of unleashing her against his foes. This was going to be fun to watch. Thratchen would never see it coming. Now, my pet, get out of here and kill, he ordered smugly. In one lightning-fast motion, she was so quick, no ape or demon could compare to her speed. She plunged the demon blade into the center of his chest. No thought, no hesitation, not even a sound until the blade bit his flesh, and he felt his power buckle. He would have felt pride at the efficiency of her betrayal if it hadn't been directed at him, or he had been a little less deadly, or had been a little less deadly. No, this was to be Thratchen's wretched fate, not his. He was immortal, invincible thanks to his connection with the darkness device Malgus. With its power, any blow could be avoided. So long as there was a reality where Kren had survived this moment, he could latch onto it and make it this one with Malgus' dark energy. He reached out the tendrils to the tendrils of reality wafting around him, the what-ifs that were by his right to command. There must be one where his fate was not sealed, but as he reached for the other outcomes, they slipped away. He tried to draw more power from Malgus, the dark scepter in his loosening grip, but no power came. Stark realization flooded Cranad's fading consciousness. Malgus was aware, but silent. The darkness device wasn't simply denying him power, it was actively suppressing his own abilities. What could cause Malgus to turn on him? Was this the power of the Gotman? Whatever the reason, Cranad now knew this was the end. GameRex says, get wrecked. And that was directed at Cranag, not you before you asked. Yeah. Demons come into existence knowing there is nothing for them after they perish. Neither eternal paradise nor punishment. Nothing eternal at all. They may crow and strut and pretend that hell will belch them forth again. But it's just another lie. The closest a demon can brush against immortality is leaving an everlasting scar on someone else. The evil we do lives after us. That was the creed, a mantra all demons could respect, but few truly understood. Padre says, High Lord lesson number 355, don't tick off your darkness device. Right. In his last moments, Cranad wished he could lash out and destroy everything. If he had to perish, so should the world and everything in it. Jezreel, Thrachin, Volkov, and especially the Gauntman. But he didn't have that energy or time to destroy anything. The blade did its work too well. Perhaps he had the strength for one last strike, to push the blade back towards Jezreel, and she could join him in oblivion. Suddenly, it came to him. He could lash out at the world. He just had to muster the strength to spit out 5 words before he perished, and he'd become immortal. Not in the sense that he would prefer, but in the only way he could. The evil we do lives after us. I'm so proud of you, he managed to croak to Jezreel through the blackened blood filling his mouth. He knew this woman. He knew how those words would haunt her. They would spur her rage, her self-loathing, and her self-destructive impulses. Everything of his that he'd poured into her for her entire life, just as Alf had done for him. She'd lashed out at him. She'd burned the world in his name, whether she meant to or not. She would never be totally free of him, of his influence over her. She would never be anything except what he made her, and he hoped someday she'd realize it. Jezreel's haggard screams were music in his ears. As he died, she ripped the demon blade from his chest and stabbed it back into his arm, or back into him over and over in a frenzy, into his belly, into his eyes, everywhere. As life drained from the former High Lord of Tharkold, his own carefully constructed lies began to drain from him too. If anyone could burn the world, it was her, but he didn't really care if she did or not. He just didn't want to kill her in the last moment. She was something more than a thrall to him. He really was proud of her, of the monster he'd made into her. She probably would kill Thrachin and Volkov and the Gauntman and every stupid monkey on both worlds, and whether it was from love or hate, she would be doing it for him, his legacy. The evil we do lives after us. It finally made sense to the Demon Lord as the last of his consciousness bled away. Good girl. Nice. That's pretty awesome. So that is the final preview for today. Tomorrow we will see what else we have in store for you. We've got some more stretch goals still, so we'll release those as we hit those markers. Who wrote the intro? That's a good question. I'm not sure about this. I don't think it was. Think it was included. One for the team. So hopefully we'll see all of you tomorrow. I know some of you guys said that you're already kind of backing at the box level, which is great, at the vault level. Please feel free to go check out those all the previews. You can read them again for yourself, and you can get the Game On notification right away. I'm putting that in the chat here, so you can get notified as soon as we go live. And we'll see you guys. See you all tomorrow on the crowdfunding. See you on our social media. Feel free to join us at our Discord. Let me throw that up here real quick. So it's going to be bit.ly/Discord, Ulisses Discord. Come chat with us there. There's the link for that. So hopefully we'll see you in the Discord, see you on our other social media, and I'll see you all on Wednesday as we talk more about the Tharkold Kickstarter. So with that, I'm Robert Adichie for Ulysses Spiel. Have a good day.